So during this this whole quarantine, the one that we just went through back in March.
What quarantine?
Oh, just forget about that.
Yeah.
Back in March.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah. So, two things that happened to me. Got big into yacht rock. Told you that before. Love yacht rock. But I watched tons of documentaries. Like, I love documentaries. I love watching, even Dateline, stuff like that, to figure out why people go ahead and murder people.
Or the Chris Hansen ones.
That was to Catch a Predator.
Right,
those were great. That was great TV. That was some of the best comedy on TV. It was sad, but funny.
Yes.
The way that it happened. But the thing I really got into, and I think I told you to watch it, was this thing about the Nexium cult. Did you watch the Nexium?
Oh, good God, did I watch that
good.
thing?
Yeah, because we didn't talk about it. Good stuff, right?
Wow.
I don't know if you heard, he just got sentenced.
Yes.
Yeah. 2 life terms, I think. 2 life terms for racketeering. What was his other thing?
I think trafficking.
Sex trafficking.
Yeah.
How do you get to that point where you let, this guy's 5'5"? His name's Keith. Remember, his name's Keith?
Right.
And he wanted everybody to call him Vanguard.
Yeah.
Vanguard.
Well, he wanted a different name because everybody knows. I mean, no offense, guys, but Keith is the worst name in the English language.
Yeah, it's
Family Guy said it best.
Yes. Did they?
Yeah. What is the worst name? It was a code word to get into a safe. The worst name in the English language. Keith.
Yeah. So
cool.
Vanguard, and he got that name from the 80s video game that would be at the arcade, the Vanguard video game.
Right.
He took it. So he's
That's
a
right.
big fan of that.
Yeah.
But how do you get to that point? How do these people, are you just broken? What happens?
I think people are looking. They've got too much space inside. They're looking for something to fill that space.
There's a whole science.
Figuratively,
there's a whole science that goes behind the cults and how they suck people in.
Yeah, I want to start a cult. I want to get a cult going.
Well, yeah, I just would get a cult going just so I could go back to Greece next summer. Raise enough money, go to Greece. That's it. Then I'll just disband the cult, or I'll just disappear.
What would you call it?
That's a good question. Yeah. I'd have to think.
You'd really have to think it through.
Yeah, I'd have to really think about that.
But did you like it? Yeah, I told you it was good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Midnight volleyball? What?
Yeah, I know.
Who does that?
Yeah, please meet us for volleyball at midnight.
Yeah, till 4 in the morning. And then he'll sit around and pontificate, and they all cry when he talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I liked how they would make it seem like he had this huge following, and he would do these huge speaking engagements. Meanwhile, it just looked like somebody put some drapes in the basement. There was a card table,
right.
and he would sit down and be like, like he was some big shot. And they got some of those actresses
from
involved.
Smallville, the girl from Smallville.
Yeah.
And somebody who had a blip in one of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. But at least she broke out of it. She broke out of that.
Yeah, she got out, but still.
Silly white girls.
But I'm glad you watch it. See, I recommend good things, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, that was a great recommendation. I'm excited for your next recommendation. We'll have to wait for the next cult scandal.
I don't have anything right now.
Oh, all right.
I'll get you one.
Oh, it's America. Something's going to come up.
Yeah, so anyway, tell us about your guest. So speaking of silly white girls.
Yeah, well... I was going to say, speaking of television, but okay. Speaking of silly white girls, we've got Leon Morgan, who, in my mind, he'll always be a celebrity. You may not have heard of him, but in my mind, he is a celebrity. Leon is an actor, and we're going to talk about his story, how he became an actor. He's also a sneaker aficionado, and he was one of those prior to being an actor. Believe me, we had some discussions about that.
Yeah.
And he'll tell us about that too. And Leon and I go back to 2006. Yeah, 2006 when we worked together.
Okay, so you say he's a sneaker aficionado.
Yeah.
Where are we starting? What point? I want to hear about that. That's what I'm most excited to hear.
Well, let's go right
there.
Yeah, he's here. We can start off with Lee and the sneaks and go from there. Here he is, Leon Morgan.
Hey, yes. So TV is full of silly white girls, just to say. But,
sure is.
Don't get me canceled,
the
please. Sneakers. How did I get into it? Yeah. Back in high school, I got into it. Burning up my mother's American Express, buying sneakers online, trying to keep up with the Joneses. Yeah. I used to love video games. But I was just like, you can't get girls with a high score in a video game, so you step your wardrobe up. I can't vanguard it like everybody else. I can't go out there and do that. So I got into sneakers, and it was crazy because I ended up getting my first corporate job. No, not corporate job, but my first retail corporate job was at Nike Town. when it used to be in He Who Shall Remain Nameless Tower on whatchamacallit.
Oh, yeah, 57th. Yep, 57th and 5th. Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, I had a real problem. It would be like 15 pairs I'd buy a month, and then I had to like just back it up because I'm like, I can't do anything with this.
I was going to say, was it kind of like being in the mob? Because was Nike juicing you? Was it like, you take out advances and then they're like, hey, Leon, you got to work a little extra overtime now,
My coworker used to be like, there's Leon again, recycling his money back in the company.
How many pair do you have?
I have right now, I think 130. My max was 250.
Why'd you cut back? Did you sell them? What?
I was just like, I can't do it. I'm looking at this pile of shoes. I was still living at home. My mom at the time, go figure, right? And I was just like, you have 250 pairs of sneakers and you're living at home. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So then I ended up like donating some to veterans and selling some on eBay, just giving some to like my friends and whatnot. And then when I got my own apartment with my fiance, I was just like, you know what? Now you can kind of do it again, but just do it. But just pace yourself.
You can't possibly wear all the. How many of these have you worn? Like of the ones you own?
So I've worn, I would say 97% of them. There's 3% that haven't broken out yet because I'm just like, like it's winter now. I don't want to ruin these sneakers.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Right.
No, I learned that from Leon. I have certain like sneakers now, especially from Nike, I will only wear in spring.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If somebody comes and like taps into you with their dirty shoe and scuffs it, don't you get pissed? I get pissed if somebody scuffs my shoe. Now, Leon, this is the thing I had. My brother was a trainer in the NBA, so he had a contract with Nike. So I used to be able to get, Nikes whenever I wanted. It was a great treat, but I didn't take advantage. You would have taken advantage of them. You'd have been like, I need a new pair. I didn't take advantage.
No, I would have been. Yeah, I would have.
You would have.
That's it.
Impressive.
Yeah,
nice
that's
shoes.
just kind of what I do. So I was just like, during the pandemic, as George said, I'm an actor and the industry slowed down a bit. I was just like, you know what? I'm starting to like gain some social media confidence in a way because you gotta have that. Unless you're just sharing articles, you'll be that person. I call those people bumblebee posters, where all they do is just share articles.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, like you're some expert all of a sudden. It's like, no, it's just you're just sharing an article.
I'm a disease expert now. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here's an article.
No, just share an article, no caption. Just did you know that the scientists said that this fruit can make you lose weight? Stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
So what I did was I said, you know what? Let me try to like build up a following of some sort. So I said, let me educate people on sneakers versus just posting pictures of me wearing them. Let me give you a little history because some of these things have some rich history and, and so forth. Yeah.
What's your favorite pair that you have? There has to be one. Do you have the Run DMC All Stars? Do you have those?
Which one?
The Run DMC All Stars, the Superstars? I'm sorry.
No, Leon doesn't really wear Adidas like that.
Oh, just Nike.
For the most part, Nike.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a corporate company, man. It's just like I wear a size 14. These shoes tend to complement a big foot.
And they do.
Now
they're
he's
more
just showing
comfortable.
off.
No, they're more
That's
comfortable
okay.
for them.
Yeah.
I get that. They probably got a better toe box for them, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I know.
No. He wanted to get that size 14 in there.
Wow, toe
He
box.
did.
You really
That's
got
right,
the lingo
Scott.
down.
I do know the lingo.
He wanted to
pretty
get that
impressive.
in there. I know what he's thinking.
Yeah, if he's got a
Sorry.
14-inch. Scotty, did you hear that? He has a 14-inch shoe. You know what that means?
big shoes, big feet.
Yes.
That's what
Yeah. No, I know what he was doing. That's all right.
He's got a big one.
Hey, my mom from church is listening. No.
They
My
don't
mother
care.
hasn't been in church in like 30 years.
So-
So we'll school you on the Bible.
So I knew about this sneaker thing with the collection with Leon because when Leon and I worked together, he would wear different sneakers all the time. And what I'd love to do is the one thing, yes, your mother talked to you about how many pairs you had, but do you remember the discussion we had in the office about that too, where I said it might be time to shed a few? We were having Leon and I would have these dream manager conversations, and I was excited about him becoming an actor. But then there was also like, geez, George, I got to make some money. I got to do this. And I'm like, well, you got to make money. It's like, how many pairs of shoes do you have? I said, put some of those out, you could, maybe not do Starbucks 5 times a day like all the kids were doing at the time, spending hundreds of dollars a week at that place. I'm like, we can cut back a little bit here, sell a few shoes. and then, start going to acting school. And so, Leon, why don't you like take it from there? Like, where did the acting bug hit, and how did you approach it? Because a lot of people, I think, have the bug, but for some people, it's literally a flu, like just get rid of it and move on. Yeah. But for other people, I think they should follow it, like what you did. So
my acting bug is a lingering disease right now. It's lingering like COVID. Like you got it, now you got some lingering effects. But no, so before I wanted to become an actor, I wanted to become a music producer. I wanted to be the next Jay-Z. So I had my own record label. I had 2 artists signed to it, plus 2 producers. Oh. But then it was just like, you're not going to become successful with this because you have to depend on these people who aren't coming to the studio on time that you're paying for. So then our coworker, Mario Eusebio,
yep,
you remember, he was an actor. And we would make these little videos for the store meetings. And Mario was like, Leon, you're having so much fun. You should do this. I was like, no, I want to be Jay-Z. I don't want to be Denzel. I want to be Jay-Z. And then I saw I Am Legend. It was pretty much like a one-man show. I was like, that's pretty fun. And then I read that Heath Ledger locked himself in a hotel room for a month to become the Joker. That's what I want to do. So ever since Mario introduced me to our acting coach, Richard Scanlon, who passed away last year, rest in peace, I just never looked back. And it was funny because I'm a shy dude. I was or am for the most part.
Yeah, you seem it.
What are you doing becoming an actor? Every time I have a show, I'm about to film something, I'm like, what are you doing here? You're shy. You don't belong here. But then once it's over, I'm just like, damn, I miss it.
Yeah.
So what was your first, I mean, I don't think that play I went to, that wasn't your first big gig. The one where I yelled out intermission by accident and everybody heard it. I was upset. I went to go see this play and I was looking at I looked through the program and I thought it was a short play. And I didn't realize how loud I was being. And I looked through the program and I'm like, intermission?
Oh, no.
Everybody's like turning around looking at me.
Yeah. There's more?
But yeah, that was my bad. But I was being supportive. That was my bad. Anyway, so what was your first break? What was your first break?
So what you saw that day was a showcase.
Yes.
But my first actual play, I got fired from actually. My first one. Yeah, they double cast it, right? But it was funny because the writer, he ripped off Tyler Perry. And, I'm not saying anything because I'm still trying to build bridges, but he ripped off Tyler Perry. And then the director was like a dictator. This dude who dressed like a 1940s director, he wore the beret, he had his pants into his boots.
Are you kidding?
They have a riding crop,
the little pantaloons, the billowy pants,
and a paper blowhorn, action.
Quiet on the set. Domino fall.
So he was just it wasn't a great experience. I don't want to say the guy was bad, but it wasn't a great experience. So
were you feeling a bit deflated after that, or did you get asked to leave? It's okay. I want people to hear the real deal because
I'll tell you. So I got an email one morning. Hello, your services will no longer be needed and love hurts. Thank you very much.
Wow.
And that was it. That was the email I got. So when I got that email, I'm still 25 at the time, still fresh.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my God, that's it. I will never be in a Marvel movie because I got fired from Love Hurts. So it was just but then, as I grew, pardon me, actually, let me take it back. I ended up booking another play. I booked this play with this woman. It wasn't, she wrote it from the heart. So this wasn't a Edward Albee type of play or a Tennessee Williams quality, but it was just she wrote this from the heart. It meant something from her to her, and she wanted to send a message. So I was more than happy to jump on. I'm so friends with this woman. She's been one of my biggest supporters. But yeah, she gave me my first opportunity that I saw through. I didn't get fired from it.
That's great. So how was that? What was it? Nervousness? What did you go through for that first one?
So it was nervousness because it was you're in front of this crowd. 2, I played a gay dude in the play. Now, there's anything wrong with it. When people do their personal time is no one's business but their own. So it was like, that was my first role. So at first it was like, a little nervous taking on such a role, because you and I actually had a conversation about that.
Yes.
You said, do you want your first role to be this? Because it's not that there's anything wrong with it.
Right.
It's just you're fresh in the game. Can you connect with that character?
Right.
So it was a little bit nerve-wracking to do that, but it was also nerve-wracking because I'm in front of a Black audience. Black people, we talk at the screen. We talk at the stage. So that's just what we do. It's embedded in us.
True.
So when I got on that stage and people were talking back at me, I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like, I'm making these people feel a certain way that they're just yelling at the character, not knowing that, hey, this is written. This is not how I really feel. So
the audience was actually like yelling out to you, like, that's right.
Yep.
Like that type of, no. Sit down, get out of there. Like, yeah.
One play I did this, I was just like, why won't women treat me right? And this lady was like, I'll take you home. I was like, yes, okay. So, yeah, I'm always nervous when I get on the stage. Like, it tells me that I love what I do. But like when you can make someone laugh or cry or get angry with you, this character, it's just tops.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So, you got in that play, you played the gay character, the audience is like coming along the ride with you. What happens after that? Like, what did you get some extra schooling? Did you meet up with an agency? Like, how does the process work?
So what I did, naive Leon back at the time thought, I did this play. Someone's going to come see me and I'm going to be in a new X-Men movie. For some reason, it was just always going to Hollywood and doing a Marvel film. I don't know what it was with me in my 20s, but I started to learn that, no, it's more than that. You actually have to grind hard. It's a lottery. It's even worse than the NBA draft. So I decided to work with my, pardon me, I'm like stammering all over the place here. I decided to enroll in an acting school, the William Esper Studio.
Okay.
And get that training, that discipline, the responsibility of meeting with your scene partner outside of class, not just waiting for class to do your work. Like, that was your responsibility. They drilled that into you because it's like, for all the hours that you are not training or being responsible, someone else is putting in the double time. Yeah. And my teacher always told me the actor who does the work is the actor who gets the work. So
there you go.
I graduated from the William Esper Studio. All right, great. I'm a trained actor. I'm going to get every role now. I'm going to be an Iron Man too. Nope. That doesn't matter.
You didn't get in? No.
So I'm thinking to myself, like, these reps are going to love me because, look, he works in the William Esper Studio. He has theater underneath his belt. Like, this kid's an artist. No. Then you learn about the thing of types now. Does Leon look like the type that works for George at this corporation? Yes, he can play that character, but would you take him as that guy? No. So we're going to go with someone else. Your audition was great, but you just weren't right for the part. Does Leon look like he would be in a relationship with Scarlett Johansson? Maybe she likes brothers. But according to this movie, it doesn't look like they're going to be together. So, Leon, the world's going to go to Dak Shepard, but hang on, buddy. We're going to look for something for you.
Right.
So there are these little things that you find along the way that help you grow. It crushes the naive, young, bright-eyed actor in you, and it turns you into the professional artist.
That's okay.
It's a good way to look at it.
That's a great way to look. I don't think many people look at it that way.
No, and they should, because he's right. It's a crushing. It can be a soul crushing business. So, what kind of gigs were you getting out of that after you graduated school? You weren't getting the Iron Man roles. What were you getting?
So I was getting more black box theater, more black box and plays written by Black directors and writers in Harlem and parts of Brooklyn. And it was just like, maybe you need to find a little bit of yourself, because I won't lie, when I was coming in the game, you'd look on TV or in film, it's mainly like white faces, white writers, white directors. So you think like that's the way to go. You think white is right, and you tend to turn your back on your culture. But as I started grinding more and seeing there's a thing of type or connection now, you're not just reading words and regurgitating them. You have to actually connect with this character and the circumstance. I found a way, an appreciation to my own culture. Actually, one of my teachers, Patrick Quagliano, he said, I don't think is that you're not getting the Black roles. I think you're afraid to do them because you may feel you won't connect with them. And a part of what he said was true. I didn't grow up like in your traditional Black family. My family's from the Caribbean, so we have our different roots. It's not necessarily in tune with what's going on in the South or someone who grew up in Brooklyn or such. So there was a part of me that felt like, yeah, I'm Black, but I'm not part of that class. Not that I think I'm better than them. I just didn't have that experience.
No, you didn't have that experience.
Yes, that experience of growing up in, being like 6th or 10th generation in America. Like I'm first generation, my brother and sister and I. So there was a part of me that was afraid that I couldn't connect with that. But little did I know, whether I'm from Honduras and Trinidad or from Charleston, South Carolina, I'm still a brother.
Yeah.
So I still get that experience, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense.
No, of course it does.
Yeah.
Of course it does. I'll tell you, it's funny. I just one quick aside, and then I have another question. But I mean, Leon and I were actually the original Larry and Leon from Curb Your Enthusiasm. When I look at Curb Your Enthusiasm now, Leon and I, when we were working together, we didn't live together, but we were the original Larry and Leon.
Sit there and bicker with each other?
No, just bicker, talk stuff. Like I would learn a lot. There was cultural things Leon would learn about me with the gay community. I learned a ton from Leon in the Black community. We were able to frame it in a humorous way. I don't think people would have gotten us, to be honest. I think we probably both would have been fired if they heard some of the stuff we talked about. But we just And it was
Leon,
just
did
cool.
you use George's? Did you use him when you were playing your gay character? Was he your reference?
So at first, I won't lie to you. Like I would ask like my gay coworkers, I'm like, so what would you do in this situation? It's just like, as I look back at it, it's kind of cringeworthy because it's almost like, hey, Leon, I'm gonna go date this Black guy. What do you guys like to do? It's almost like that. So it's like it was cringeworthy. I'll give you like a little side action. I remember I used to have a mohawk.
Yeah.
And like a real mohawk, shaved sides and everything. I was gonna get a tattoo on the side of my head. George picked up the store walkie-talkie and he says, "Hi everyone, this is George Poulios, just letting the store know that if Leon Morgan gets a tattoo on the side of his head, I'm done with him."
That's a friend. That's a good friend right there. He's done.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad.
Oh, in the workplace today, I'd be serving 2 to 5.
Oh, yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Back then, though, we could get away with it.
You'd be canceled.
Yeah.
But yeah. But see, the thing is, George, our banter, our dynamic, it's just like I had a conversation with someone about this a while ago. Like sometimes our differences, race, sexuality, religion, is the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And when you can get over that and make fun of yourself and know that George doesn't mean this when he says this or Leon doesn't mean this when he says that, everyone's just butter. It's golden.
Right. And I that's how we built a relationship and built a friendship, which is great. So let's talk where, we've got, and believe me, we'll put all the Leon Morgan acting, Lee and his sneaks. We'll put all those on the website.
Oh, you got to put the sneaks.
Show.
Can you send a picture of your wall or your drawers? Not your pants, but your drawers of.
Yeah, we will need we'll need a photo of that for sure. In addition to the handsome profile you sent us.
Oh yeah.
But my question now is, and I think people want to know because. I think they get the picture that it's not easy, but there's been some great advice here. Where are you right now? And then what are you thinking about? Not too far in the future because you don't want to waste too much energy on the future, but where are you now and what are you thinking about next?
So where am I now? I'm still figuring myself out. So there's no such thing as a master actor. If you've mastered acting, that means you've mastered the human condition and you're wasting your time acting. You should be charging $500 million for speaking engagement at colleges, honestly. And I learned that, and I'm learning that because I'm breaking my perfectionism. So George and I had a conversation actually the other day because I took this audition technique class over Zoom.
Yep.
I was like, let me work the creative muscle. And I was sitting up there trying to be perfect in my scenes and my scene work. And it just wasn't landing. I wasn't honest. I was just trying to put on a performance versus actually just coming from an honest place. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that acting and auditioning, two different beasts. Like, yes, when you book that role, become Jerry Seinfeld, become George Costanza. But in that audition room, I'm Leon Morgan showing you, the casting director, how I'm going to put the pieces together for this puzzle. You have a casting problem. I'm Leon. Here's my honest take on this character. Does it work? Yes. Great. Let's sign the papers. If not, no problem. Great audition. I'll keep you in the back of my head. So I'm learning that there's no such thing as a perfect human being. So therefore, you don't have to be perfect in your audition. So after we had that conversation, I took another audition technique class over Zoom, and I just threw it away. I was just natural. I was just myself, responding honestly, and she loved it. So that's where I'm at right now, figuring myself out. So when the world heals, I can bring that into the battlefield. For the future, I'm looking into writing. Someone was said to me, actually, during one of my second play, this woman said, every Black actor should learn how to write. Now, I'm 25, 26. I'm like, I don't know what that means. And writing sounds like such a task. But as I grew in this industry, I'm like, now I see what she means. Now I see what she's trying to say, like, because if the work ain't going to come to me, I got to go out and make the work. Right. My great friend, Rami Youssef, he and I were classmates. He has a show on Hulu, Rami. And that's about him growing up being Muslim in New Jersey. And like, that's a unique story that needs to be told. And he wrote it, and it's out there. My boy got an Emmy.
Wow. Jeez,
nice, impressive.
Hello. Bring him on the show.
Yeah.
What am I talking to you for? Bring him on the show.
All right. This has been Leon.
He got a Golden Globe and an Emmy nomination.
What?
But it's like, that's amazing to see, like, my friend who I did a scene with, like, I could physically touch him. So now I know it's like, you don't have to be a superhero to be successful in this game. You just have to be an honest human being.
So you're sticking with it. I mean, that's the thing. You're just being persistent, which I love, because you actually love what you're doing. So you just want to keep doing it.
I love it. I can't see myself doing anything else. Like, no offense to anyone in the American workplace, but sitting at a desk is just not for me. I can't do that. I got a story to tell, man. I got, I'm gonna say, I got charisma. I got charm.
You do.
Out there.
Yeah. You know what I like that he said there too is the fact that he's happy for somebody else in his field. Like, even in stand-up comedy, and I'm sure it's with acting, there's so much jealousy. People that well, how come he's got an Emmy? Why does he get a Golden Globe nomination? Why is he headlining? Why is he opening for, Jerry Seinfeld? Why aren't I? And you see so much of that in all these fields, and I'm sure it's true in music too. But I try to be so positive and helpful towards people, and I love the fact that he said that he's happy for somebody. You got to be. I mean, what's wrong with you that you can't show a little happiness for somebody that they're having some success?
How did you get to that mental space, Leon? Was it meditation, a book? Like, seriously, because I think it takes some work.
It does take some work, because there are many times I used to compare myself to other people. Like, I'm actually glad you spoke about, like, the happiness and the jealousy. Like, so there was a time where I wasn't jealous, but it was more like, George just booked freaking Black Panther. Like, why am I not doing that? Like, what's going on? So what I would do is I would say, you know what? There's so many different roles out there. Good for George. It was his time. I can't compare my chapter 1 to his chapter 20. Yeah. That's one thing. 2 is just like, if I'm friends with this person, why don't I just reach out to them and have a conversation and pick their brain and see, like, how do they maneuver through obstacles? Like, people like to say, like, this game has luck to it, but I agree with Peter Dinklage. There's nothing lucky about it. You're kind of cheapening my journey.
Yeah.
So, and then it's just like, what do I have to gain to be jealous? Like, all that's going to do is make my face wrinkle faster, and I can't do that. You need your youth in this industry. But I've seen it where people get so jealous that they try to bring down their peers, right? Like, I'll tell you a story that happened to me. I was in a play with a young lady that actually didn't take off. I left the play and did another play, and that actually took off. She decided to spread a rumor about me out of jealousy. She said that I was sexually aggressive towards her in the play. I played her husband, so I kissed her on the lips twice.
Oh, so do you mean the original play you left? She made it seem like you left because of that reason, and because because the second play was successful, she created this new narrative.
Yeah. So
okay,
I had left the play, and she was very full of herself, and sometimes you gotta have a little confidence, but just be careful with that. So I found out from a mutual friend that she said that I was sexually aggressive towards her and such.
Ah, okay.
I said to the friend, I'm like, well, did she tell you that when I left the play, she was texting me and saying I wish to work with you again?
Oh.
Did she tell you how when we had to rehearse one time, she invited me to her house to rehearse when her roommate wasn't there? Nothing happened.
Yeah, I know, of course.
Myself, so I'm just like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the guy who's out there trying to spread rumors to break down another actor because he or she is doing better than me.
Right.
Because that's not going to lead to me getting any roles. You understand what I'm saying? And I had another incident where I had a former friend of mine. He was a white dude. We're actors. Well, he's a type. I'm an actor. He's not an artist, but that's not a story. But he was getting a little pissed off because he wasn't getting as many auditions anymore because they decided to, diversify the industry.
Sure.
So he started taking out on me, telling me that racism doesn't exist. No. It's a war against whites, poor me.
Yeah.
And I'm just I don't want to be that person. So the only thing I need to be is happy, not to a point where it's toxic, where it's just everything is just so great and bright. No, but you know what? George is my boy. He has his own TV show. Good for him. That tells me that I can maneuver through this industry as well.
That's a great mindset.
Yeah. You just, you avoid the excuses and just get down to business. And I think a lot of people like to use excuses as reasons for failure, or that famous phrase that drives me nuts is, well, I tried. It's no, you literally, and in this case, it's literal. You literally act the way to your goal. And in this case, you're literally acting.
And I love that he said, when he was talking about comparing yourself to other people, you know, even in business, once you start comparing yourself to what you're already defeating yourself. Even in comedy, you compare yourself to another. You don't compare. You just be you. Go out and be you. And do the best you can.
If you think I'm going to compare to size 14 sneakers, you're out of your mind.
No
way.
Whoa.
No way. And on that note, I am going to say, Leon, thank you very much. This is
Leon,
for your time.
Oh man, I have so many stories now.
Well, the good news about this show is when we've got great guests, you come back to give an update. So season 2, which will be starting in February, we will absolutely have you back on board.
Definitely, and we'll definitely get inside your drawers there.
Right, we need a picture of the drawers, and we want to do a lot with. You can find Leon on @LeonMorganActing on Instagram. Lee_and_his_sneakers and sneaks, excuse me. So there's lots of underscores there. And that's also on Instagram, but we'll have all those connections for you listeners on the website and obviously on our social media.
Do you have a fans only too? 14-inch Leon or no?
I should get an OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, yeah. OnlyFans.
Since 2 in February, Black History Month, I should be the first guest with an hour slot.
Hey, you know what?
That's what we're doing.
You just bitched your way into a new show.
Yeah,
that's
way to bitch.
You just did it. You just bitched your way into the first episode of season 2. Yep. All right, we got it.
Done deal.
I'm serious.
We're going to handcuff ourselves to the door.
Well, let's not get kinky. Okay, that's all right. Jeez. Yeah. For someone that needed a lot of coaching to be a gay character, I don't know. Anyway, Leon, honestly, I mean, it's the only guest you could do this with. That's what makes this so great. But seriously, obviously, we'll be in touch, and I think February is a great time to do this again. But thank you for your time today.
Yeah, thanks, Leon.
I know you're busy, and thank you just for sharing your story. It's not many people that can talk about failure, rejection, and still be happy, following their passion, being positive, being happy for other people. This is a great lesson for everybody today. in the face of rejection, it's like, yeah, you can feel a little bit bad about it, but you pick yourself up and go. And most importantly, you stay positive for yourself and those around you. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you guys for having me on. It was great. Just, if I can tell you this, just continue to be honest, because honesty is just like, I'm tired of the mask.
Yeah.
Show me what's underneath the mask. And you guys are not wearing masks today, and it's awesome. And thank you so much, George. I'm so happy we did this.
Yeah, me too. And we'll do it again. Believe me, we've got a lot. I think there's a lot more to say. There's a whole other show here, clearly. But thank you, Leon. Yep. You'll find our show, guys, every Thursday at 10 a.m. We drop the Curiously George podcast, and you can find Todd and I at curiouslygeorge.com, Instagram and Facebook at Curiously George. And that's it for today.
Yeah, that's it. That was a great show.
Great to meet you digitally.
Hey, it was nice to meet you, Leon.
Nice to meet you, too.
I'll send you my drawers through my OnlyFans.
Just like an actor, he keeps going.
Yeah.
All right. Scene.
And scene.
Awesome.
Guys, be safe out there. Be well. Wear your masks.
See,
please.
still going. Yep. Still going.
Scott, do you want to say anything to Leon? He's still talking.
Scott, maybe you have a question for the
Thanks,
actor.
man.
I don't know.
You got anything? Good? No, all right, good.
Sorry.
All right. Well, that was great. It was a good chat. I mean, like he said there with the whole thing with, being honest and, it was just a great chat. And the guy's got such a great disposition too.
Oh,
because acting's not easy. It's, like I said, soul crushing at times, but there's also some good.
My goal, and Leon knows this, my goal for him, and we've talked about this for years, is that Marvel movie's going to come. Like when Luke Cage came out in Netflix, we were going back and forth about it. It's going to happen. The Marvel movie's going to happen. There's no question about it.
When do you think it'll happen?
I think in the next 2 years. There's going to be some Marvel's going to be doing some interesting things with some of their characters. They're going to have characters in the comic books that are going to come to life. And I think there's a couple out there. There's a guy, Goliath. He's more like a giant man. I could see Leon getting all CGI'd.
Oh, okay.
Well, hey, with a size 14 shoe, come on. So it's gonna, so I could see that happening. But again, to the audience, I think to wrap it all up, it's how you take adversity and how you deal with it, and still remain positive about yourself and about the people around you. Yeah. And that is the lesson for today.
Yeah, he showed it.
And you got to be that way, or else it's just not going to happen.
Nope.
Awesome.
All right. Well,
thanks,
this was
Todd.
great. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Todd.
Say goodbye, George.
Goodbye.